this every week at a set schedule. I guess, some things have been getting in the way, but hopefully we're trying to work towards this routine schedule. Every week of, we say we're going to do this and we're actually doing it. That is what we are definitely striving towards. For those of you that have kind of, been following and wondering, that's what's going on.
Now, quick question. So we're trying to bring a special guest. Jax, you know who that is, who I'm talking about. For this person, it will be very tricky to get her to be able to join at close to the time that we're doing it right now. Even right now. So
we'll have to accommodate her. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
He's kind of a recent champion of the community, and I respect what she's doing, and we'll talk about it with her. So let's accommodate her.
If we, I'll talk to her. I can take the day off next week on Friday, and then we can do it very, very early so she can join. I think that'd be a good idea.
And I can also wake up early.
Sweet. Yeah. All right, cool.
Hello, guys. How are you doing? It's me, Atriox.
Hey.
What's up, Atriox?
Hey, man.
How you doing, man?
Well, who are you from?
Well, I am Romanian, man. Nice to
meet you.
Yeah,
but in our season, what team are you playing on? I know who it is, but
yeah, I am co-leading Ape this season together with Germ. He is one of the best guys I met in this game, so definitely I give it a shot for this season. Shout out to my co-leaders as well, and we're fighting Neon and Theo right now. So it's a very harsh battle right now, so we will see what happens.
The server dynamics have changed. I don't know. You want to talk about that first or after whatever you're going to talk about?
Let's talk about it after. Let's talk about all the things that we put on the thumbnail and on the topic. Let's get everything out of the way, because I kind of want to show people your builds too at the end, and kind of talk about yours, because you're one of the very few ones that are testing different things.
Well, mine's changed daily.
I know.
And if you know, you may fight me once, and then the next time you see me, I have a completely different setup. So I don't know what build you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure they've already changed.
That's fine.
So let's talk about
if they're new.
Let's talk about that. Let's message while we're talking, and then I'll get you the current.
Sweet.
If you're trying to spotlight anything of mine. But Atriox, so Romania, that's the land of vampires, right?
Yeah, indeed, man. It's my ancestors' lands for a long time, and I've been into this game for more than 14 seasons. I think I met you a couple of times, not personally on the battlefield, but we spoke on Discord as well. And I've been leading various clans. I've been the founder of Scenes. I led Valhalla for more than 7 seasons, and then I came back in the game after 7 months to play Dune, and then. Now we are back in Apes, so I'm rolling this season with them.
Well, that's a great name, Valhalla. Love that. Love all that stuff. And I don't know if we ever fought or whatever. I used to be a lot stronger, but since I came to NRP, I'm slowly ramping up my good comms and trying to catch up with all these guys that've been over here a long time and got everything optimized. But we're getting there.
I know you from America, right? From what I know.
I'm a what?
You're from America, right? Like from USA.
Yeah. I'm in the West Coast, Los Angeles. Mm-hmm.
Ah, I see. My best officer was from Charlestown in the South. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's South Carolina you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
I went to boot camp. The basic training for the military and the army in South Carolina, many seasons ago.
Many seasons ago. That looks like a very good description for Robert Baratheon when he was very strong in Game of Thrones. Yeah, but I can imagine. It's good to meet Turgon as well. He's also a legend, so it's nice to see him around.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
And of course, I've been speaking with Fellow of the Rings for more than a year, so the guy was always supportive to me. So I wanted to make a surprise appearance to the channel as well. So here I am, brother. After a long time.
Nice to see you. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Well, glad to have you back as well, brother. Very good to see all of you guys in the same season as me. But to be honest, it was a roller coaster for me this season. It was really a roller coaster.
Yeah, we'll talk about
All
it.
right,
We're
yeah.
gonna talk about this a little bit later.
Good to have you.
Because things have changed.
Good to have you, though, Aatrox. All right, so first things, earlier today at, what was it, 2:30 p.m., whatever, that's, I guess, 2:30 p.m. my time, we got a notification from the game saying the campaign Rings of Power Update Notice Part 1. Did you guys check that one out? They're introducing new ring abilities. I'm going to be honest, with the land debuffs and the no reinforcement ring abilities, I'm having a lot more fun. I don't know, Jax, how you feel about this too, but I'm having a lot more fun this season playing TE NRP than I have been in the last 2 previous seasons or 3 playing King of Man.
You know, I'm a little disappointed. I'm also happy, right? I'm having a good time, and it's getting better all the time. I'm disappointed, T, because the unit traits have no.
It's stupid.
There's really
yes.
So what's the point of having TE and unit traits? Because they do absolutely. Now, before they were fire, they were great, right? And you could actually find some niche and different stuff that you could make work and was broken, and there's none of that.
No, it's ridiculous.
Tactics involved. There's no point in calling that because there is no tactic. There is no strategy involved at all.
Yeah,
there's none of that.
Let's have a quick look here. I agree with you. It's just very dumb. Like they dumbed this down so much that it's just pointless. Let's have a look at one of the used to be the really, really good skills in TE was the, if I'm not mistaken, the Arbalest. So look at this. Traveling Light gives at level 1 +7 attack. You know, like what is that? And then at level 2, 5% damage done. It's 5. Or I mean, this everybody gets the discipline one, so that's really useless. But then you have the significant assault, which is damage dealt +6% when attacking formations afflicted by stun or madness. Like, what is 6%?
I know.
Like, that's not gonna change anything.
It's like for some reason, it's like they hate the troop damage. For some reason, they will not adjust properly troop damage commanders. It's all like the command. Okay, I'm not being completely truthful. They have changed a little bit for the better. They've introduced command as part of some of the commander skills, right? And that's great. That's something. What we actually need is for you to tie troop damage to command itself, or increase damage, not attack. We need a little bit of a buff to the troops and troop commanders that they have more damage output. That is what we need.
Or or give us a variety. See, this I'm gonna kind of have to spoil something. I've been working with a couple of people that I believe are like they're either very creative or very knowledgeable in relation to the game, and we're working on ideas on how to improve commanders. I'm give you, for example, but just give us varieties of commanders. Give me a troop commander that a skill does something like this in rounds 1, 3, 6, and 9. Guys, this is just random, by the way. Increases the damage output of your troops by 80%, by 250% on those rounds, right? And you give me another commander that does another type of skill damage, or he does every other round. There's like a follow up. I don't know, but it's just so stale right now. The types of skills that we have, But I feel the issue with this is not just with troop commanders, is with everything, because now what we're doing is we're adding up. For example, when we talk about damage commanders, right? You look at your Dane, your Bjorn, your Sarumans and stuff. All that we're doing right now is adding up all the damage output to see who hits the hardest. That's it. There is nothing. There is no. I mean, Saruman was a new thing, right? Because Saruman is bringing up multiple attacks. It, kind of cleanses White Council if you're needing to counter that. But there is no trick play like it used to be in 1.0.
Yeah.
That's what we're missing. We're missing trick plays.
There's no like countering or over tuning a build or some kind breaking the meta or nothing. There's just send out your damage dealers and Gandalf, so on, whatever guild.
That is the first thing I'm disappointed with this update here. Okay, is when we went into PBE, I was hoping for skills actually being changed. And we know that if you guys haven't seen, there's a great video that Ombra put out recently where he listed his goods and bads for the recent changes. But, it was nice to see some of the skills, now they scale with command. But why would, this is how you can tell that some things are being overlooked. Let's look at this bad boy right here. Right?
Yeah, I actually watched this show that you're talking about that he just did, and I'm telling you, every time I watch one of his shows, I love that voice of his, bro. It's fire. I swear I loved it. I can listen to that dude talk all day, straight up.
Yeah, it is nice. Look, why would you put a skill for alerts being modified by the command stat?
Yeah.
This is a simple thing that you can tell where commanders are just being overlooked. First you give, you give Legolas a 3rd damage skill, which is nice for him. But then the counterpart to him is alerts, and he's still with only 2. But in this case, both of his other skills are modified. They scale by command. This is the kind of stuff that makes no sense, So
it just makes you think that they don't play the game themselves, and like what prompts them to make these changes is like bits and pieces of the feedback they receive from the community, but they're not great at accepting community feedback. So it's like there's like a couple of puzzles that get put together, and they're only looking at like a third of it, and they're making the changes based upon that instead of actually testing any of these things themselves to see if it's going to make sense before they deploy it.
I know what the disconnect is. I know what the problem is. I've known all along. I can't get into it here, and I don't know how we overcome this issue either. I know what it is, but I do not have a solution.
I'm intrigued to hear later then, because I don't think I've heard it.
Yeah, I can't do it on the stream. It would have to be in a private conversation. Right, cool. But I know what the issue is, but I cannot say it here. All right. Sorry, I shouldn't even have said any of this.
That's fine. It's fine. We'll move on. So alerts is a pretty prime example of this. Now I feel the reason why I feel we're not really getting the changes that it's kind of obvious. One of the things is I feel that about a year ago, about a year into the game, I could be wrong.
Maybe a bit.
Yeah,
more.
maybe. But I think even earlier. Maybe a little bit more than a year. I think that the dev team that was making the game, it was completely changed. It
was a fire.
Who they put in? No idea. I do think it's probably either a newer dev team, a less expensive dev team, or because either they move these more experienced people to a bigger project or something. Because until a little bit after a year, we're having videos of these devs interacting with the with the community. We had the 1 year live stream that everybody tuned in to watch, and then right after that, boom, gone.
Yeah.
So now we're just stuck with this, So there's in the last 2 months we've been having a lot of wins. I think we can all agree that a lot of the updates have actually been quite nice. Obviously not to what we expect or what we want, but they've been quite nice. Now,
well, they did. People were complaining about how they implemented this current the current changes and how are we supposed to do our commanders, you're just giving us back the same respect for the same commander, which in my opinion is fine because you can just trade it. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? It used to be nothing. You used to get none of this stuff, if you remember.
Yeah.
But they did come back, to their credit, and give us 16 hammers out of the blue. Boom. You know, everybody was complaining. Boom, here's your 16 hammers, right? So it's like it's 2 steps up, 1 step back, kind of, is what's going on here. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say that this is the only negative thing in this recent update. I'm trying to just go one step at a time here and just look at this update. The skills were bad. Like I was saying, the skills, I think they're pretty bad. The only commander that I say was, was improved was Saruman for sure. I mean, I want to get Saruman now because of some ideas for builds that I have. But besides him, I think there are little tweaks here and there that were actually quite nice. Let me give you an example. Falcon, I really liked the change in Falcon because before you were having to kind of play around with commander gear and also unit defense gear because his R5 was scaling with commander defense. Now this change here to only you only need now a command to scale his R5 is actually quite nice because now I can use the Reckoning instead of being stuck with the Liang. That's what I'm running on my guild right now. This is a nice change on Falcon. Okay, kudos to them. That means you don't need commander defense anymore, so I can max this out if I want to and get 30 extra unit defense and then 2 HP here as well. This is nice. I like this.
Are you using Falcon right now?
No, I swapped him for a little bit on Gilgalad for testing some things. But I will be getting him right back because
we can't see your gear in this position.
Let me remove myself then.
You gotta put yourself on the other side. You gotta start putting yourself on the left because every time you do this, Joe, whoever,
here we go.
We don't.
No worries. Yerte, welcome. So right now, this is not the gear I would use. Essentially, it would be your heavy command unit defense, your Golden Harp with your Cask Submerged Dial, High Elf's Hawk, and then now I can use the Reckoning because, like I was just saying now, you don't need the commander defense anymore. So that's a nice change. A negative change on skills that I'd say was Frodo. Frodo had essentially the perfect kit, I think, with the damage reduction on top R0, on the R4. Remember, guys, it's R4 now, not R5. So the evasion on the R4, and then it was perfect on this because now you had defense for everybody else and yourself with the extra HP here. You don't have that anymore. Now you still have the HP, just now it's attack. Is that really bad? I don't know, maybe not, but this here also giving 5% extra damage stat to your units, also not the greatest thing either. But we'll see how it goes in the future.
But it's great that it's R4 now instead of R5. I mean, that is such a great change. It just helps.
Definitely is.
It helps everybody. I mean, why would they do something like that when it's your bottom line is to make money, right? So why do you do that? That's purely for the community.
True.
That's purely for players. They don't get anything out of that. In fact, they do nothing but lose from doing that change, but they did it.
That is true.
Yeah, it also seemed what happened.
Sorry, Atrax, can you repeat that?
No, I just said that we had a lot of discussions in Aped these days about these improvements regarding the respect items and everything. So we were quite surprised of reducing it from 5 to 4. And then we started a very big argument in the clan today between the players who think that Legolas got an improvement and players who think that Legolas didn't have many improvements from the update. Because we think maybe Legolas can be a good improved commander after the update.
I think so. I mean, it's not gonna be huge, but it definitely helps me to do more damage. So,
there's I'm gonna address a few comments here. Salt Captain Barbosa says, what we need is a communication line with the community and devs so we can actually send constructive feedback to the team. There was another game that I played. It was called Elder Scrolls Online, the card game, like Magic or whatever. And that was a fucking great game, by the way. And I loved it. It was so much counterplay. I mean, you countered everything. You built all these unique builds with your cards, and it was great. Kind of like the Marvel Snap, I think it is. I haven't played it, but similar to that. So what they did in the end, there just wasn't enough people to play the game, unfortunately, and it died out. But what they did is they actually hired... What?
Oh, go ahead, Chicks.
What they actually ended up doing is they hired prominent players and streamers as this communication, go-between, right? As the development, the community manager or whatever. They hired streamers and players, okay? So then those guys became the community managers. And they would take the input and add their own input for changes or cards or whatever, and it would happen, like, continuously. Whatever the community... the mass majority wanted, they would change the card or the commander. Like in this game, they would implement the changes. And then, to take that even further, what they did was they made those guys the commentators and the announcers for the contest. Like they would have these championship events where all these players, the best players in the game, would come together and fight it out to be crowned champ every couple months. So those guys became the announcers too for that. So they'd have like a live show in a studio, and they broadcast, the games as the competitive games and the tournament or whatever. It was great, man. It was great, and it was so easy to do.
Yep. Oh, that'd be perfect.
The developers don't even play the game. They have no idea, though. They just seem totally clueless.
Yeah.
All right. What else? What other comments you're gonna look into, Jax?
The other comment was something about somebody saying, I don't agree. He's talking about the respect conversion, whatever. I am hair. I don't know if I'm saying this right. I don't agree with that being okay because we already traded a lot of respect to get some of those respect items. It is being double taxed. While on the one hand, you may be right, I will say this, though. We didn't before even have the ability to do that. There was no such thing of trading one thing for another. We didn't even have that. Whatever you got, sucker. So that's it. So at least we have that. I'm not going to say it's perfect. At least we have it. Because the flip side of the coin is you ain't got nothing coming, homie. You deal with what you got. So which way do you want it?
I'm hopeful. For some reason, there seems to be something going on that hopefully there's something good. If you guys look at the official Discord, Saint, she's been talking about how potentially there's something coming up, hopefully sometime in the future, related to to everybody not being happy with what happened. But for now, that's what we got. My thought on this is, because we were giving full refunds on smaller things before, I feel it just, to me, it would just make sense to giving us at least something better than this. So I'll give you two instances. 2.0 hit, and they gave us 50, it was 15 vouchers to get 50 items back from a commander, and that would be like a universal, right? The universal voucher that you can then pick. It wasn't completely universal because you can only pick like season 1 commanders, I believe. So, but at least you could choose. You got 50 back, and you could choose. But that's not even the best one. Remember when they changed the healing formula, and they gave us complete wipes for Galadriel, Sunend, all the healers. Theo got it, Ilmer got it, Azrukor, who else? Arwen, and Denethor, and Imrahil.
Yeah, I feel like something to that effect is coming.
Me too.
I do.
Me too.
I feel like something to that effect is coming down the pipeline, and Saint, bless her heart, she tries her best. she really does. She tries her best, and she's there all the time. You know,
it's rough, because I know everybody tags Anubis and Saint and other people, because they're the ones that we interact with when we do interact. But those guys are just, they're just like kind of like players like us that have been giving those roles, so it's rough because I can see in Saint's writing that she is very frustrated with the way things are happening in the game. And so hopefully things like that come. That's the only real negative, and I think is a big negative, not because I think it's fair, because I think we've gotten a lot of bigger slaps in the face. I mean, 2.0 is a huge one, but then just between, some updates were very iffy. Some of the moves that they decided to go with are even worse. But because they've given us expectations from previous refunds, 10, if 10 of that commander, it's like why would I want to pull 10 items from my Ori? Like 10? Really? 10? It's just nuts. There's no logic to this. That's why I understand why players are just infuriated. And so I really hope that that they do something. I do feel, just like Jack said, I agree. I do think something's going to happen. But a lesson for us to learn here. I feel that whenever we're not happy with something that's going on in the game, we need to voice our opinion and rally together. I think this is the third or fourth time where we all rallied together for an issue in the game, and it changed the outcome. There are a few instances that I remember something like this happening before, and us getting similar to what we wanted, So we got hammers, right? We complained about hammers, and legitimately we had, it's like you're changing all the commanders, and you not giving us a way to kind of rework that thing. And so we got 16 hammers, nice, right? And so just remember, guys, whenever something's going on that's not good, just voice it. As everybody, there's plenty of people willing to help, so don't stay quiet. Essentially, that's the only really bad. Two. That is the main one that I think is just bad, right? Maybe there's a couple. Turgon just touched on another one. The second thing, like I said, we were talking about earlier, the skills to me were really pointless. I don't think they changed enough to do anything. Saruman is part of the new meta. I think he is. Does it need more tweaking and playing around to see how to fit him in different positions? Yeah, of course, there's always testing, and so, but I feel like unless you're running Gil-galad, he's gonna eat up Falcon's instances of reduction. He's gonna eat up your White Council, so he definitely counters a lot of stuff.
He's one of the 4 commanders in the new evil RP meta that can actually put in work against the meta formations. I agree. Him, Shadow, Undying, and Sauron. Yeah, that a good, properly optimized formation with Undying, Sauron, Saruman, and Shadow can actually go toe to toe with the meta, which is nice.
Really nice.
Actually, I've been encouraging my players to use Shadow much more into builds, because as Pharaoh knows, for a lot of seasons, my players were mixed between evil and good. So that's why I convinced my players to do like hybrid formations with Shadow, because it's a really practical command.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy Shadow reports lately. Crazy, like 150,000 damage or some ridiculousness.
I think I need to check. Yeah, I need to check my report about Shadow, and I need to send it to you privately.
Send
later.
it.
Then you'll see.
Send it.
I use Shadow very differently than anybody else I've seen thus far in a different type of formation. I use Shadow and Gandalf the White, Skullham, and Gil. So I'm and then I use the set for Scowl is the Warcry, you know, the plus 24%. And then you that with Gandalf the White's White Rider for Shadow and Skullham. So then she gets up to something like 50, 45, I don't know, some 50% increased damage and fast, so she can put out the damage quick. And it's been pretty good. I mean, the changes to Gil make that possible, which is strange to say as a all along evil RP player until just now, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff changes, and definitely I've been using my Gil quite a lot this season to block other damages because, yeah, basically he was absorbing all the damage and getting my elves into other formations really good. So it's really interesting how the developers did so many changes in the game and people started returning because I've seen so many people return to the game.
That's great. It's really, really great to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, also you said something about Saint trying to do a lot of changes and to speak with the developers. She was the one who helped me the most when I had an unfair ban for 6 days, and she helped me to lift it after 3 days.
Nice. Good. That's nice. Now,
yeah, sometimes players like to abuse their knowledge about the game, and when the developers weren't doing too many updates right after the 2.0 hit, then a lot of players were mass reporting other leaders in bug end. So that also happened. Now
hilarious.
it's not happening anymore. Well, it was hilarious, to be honest, to wake up in the morning with an update. Oh, you've been banned for 6 days. I was like, okay.
It happened to me in season 2. Yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah, I can imagine. But one thing I can tell you guys is that it's amazing how the developers let us to do so many crazy builds, because this season when we were facing Neon, Theo, and even some people from Order or Ilil, when they tried our pass, it was interesting to see so many different players with so many builds. But for me as a free-to-play player, as Fellow knows, it's very difficult, and I have a lot of merit for this season. I'm really surprised with the changes I made.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a few things that have helped the lower spenders. We're gonna talk about that in just a second. Let me go back just to we talked about, so we're talking about the skills. For the majority of the skills, I think they didn't really change anything. There's so many commanders that could get changed, and so they're playable, and they're, that's what's gonna make the meta changes, allowing for 20, 30, 40 commanders to be viable. Maybe not at the same level, but at the same time, it's just letting us choose. Like, why would I ever choose? Let me give an example. Why would I ever choose? Let me see here we go. Why would I ever choose King Aragorn over Dane? What would be the reasoning, other than me liking Aragorn, King of Man, the character? There is no reason. But he has a bit of healing. He has a bit of, by the way, just using this as an example. He has a little bit of damage reduction from stun. Yeah, but it still doesn't pay off. In this formation that I'm running here, where I'm running only one damage dealer, okay, I can get my Dane to hit upwards of 210, 220, depending on, on the who I'm fighting. I mean, look at my Gandalf the White doing 87,000 damage. Why would I ever choose a Aragorn? Price, by the way, me neither. I'm gonna be doing a lot of testing, but towards the end of the season, in a week or so, I'm gonna put Falcon back on the line to get some more testing. But why would I ever choose King of Men? Would have been nice if, because they made so many commanders viable now, I can choose whatever I want. Like in 1.0. I mean, I don't want to keep bringing back 1.0 because I don't want to, keep sounding like I want. I mean, I definitely want it back, but it's not going to happen. So, but looking back, there were many different commanders that you could play around with that could do the job for you. And funny enough, what was the slogan for 2.0? Make all commanders great again or something. And we have less viable commanders now than we did back then. So I'm just hoping that they will truly make some changes. And something like what you said earlier, Jax, you read the comments saying from Captain Barbosa about the community and the devs. For the last 2 weeks now, I've been pushing to try to get somebody within the Rice War community, like part of their actual official community, to try to open up that conversation, and it just makes, it's just logical to have people who understand the game, who understand the community, say, look, why don't you change this commander's skills to this and this, making them viable for this and this reason? People are going to put money to unlock this guy or to get him higher in respect. Why not change this other commander to this and this and this? Because it's gonna make him synergize with what you guys actually were trying to propose earlier. And now people are gonna put money to get this guy, right? So it just makes sense. It's easier for us then as a community to sell the game is improving when they make this communication. So we're trying, honestly. I've been trying. I talked to Saints, I talked to a bunch of other people trying to get the communication going. And I'm not saying it doesn't have to be me. It just has to be somebody, because everybody would win there. Now, moving on from skills, I think we all could agree that PBE did really nothing for us other than introducing Saruman and some changes, like Sauron's top R0 not being pre-battle. So all your Falcon players, all your Frodos and Gills and White Council players can sleep at night soundly now without needing a crazy speedy build, so you don't get your White Council stolen. We can all sleep better now. But other than that, nothing major in a positive way so far. The other thing that is attached to that, though, when we talked about the vouchers and the useless, at least right now, useless 10 vouchers that you get back for that commander, is the Relic situation. I don't know if you guys know this, so please, nobody remove 10 vouchers from their T2 or T3 to get the Relic back, because you will not get your Relic back. You will not get the gear from your Relic back if you do that, okay? What happens is you get the Mithril back, but the gear you lose. Okay, so please don't do that.
Good. That's not good.
All right, so let me see here. I can even do it. Let me see if I have any R10s at. I don't think I have one that I could do. Needs to be, I don't have one. So let's say my Gil here had only 600. I could use his voucher. It would bring it down, but then I would lose. If I had strengthened his all the way to 5 stars, and I had refined it 5 stars, I get all the Mithril back, but all the gear would be gone. So don't do it. So I hope that we come into a future where you can break your Relic down.
That'd be great. That would be great.
I don't think I see. This is where I'm a bit torn in opinion related to allowing players to fully refund. I mean, when the game changes stuff, I guess it makes sense, but from a money standpoint, I like your guys' feedback here, Jax, Turgon, Atriox, and also in the chat, because I think I don't think I have the right answer, but this is how I feel right now. Let's say if every season there was a commander refund voucher you could buy, for like $100, which would allow you to fully refund a commander. I think because people have been talking about this for a while. Like, let us once in a while just reset a commander to try somebody else. I feel that the way that the game is built, that they make money off you collecting heroes, because this is still kind of a hero collecting game, right? I feel that it would be counterintuitive for them financially to do this. What do you guys think? I don't know if I made sense with the comment.
Yeah, makes sense.
But do you think that's something that is viable financially for a company to do something like that?
Well, company-wise, I think they try their best to advertise their changes and to try to make sure that people like what they do, but they also didn't think that maybe some of the changes they made might affect a lot. Because when I looked at my spenders in my clan, for example, I seen a lot of disgust towards the things which they wanted to improve, like to bring profile pictures and other stuff regarding vouchers, and they really wanted to spend on something much more useful, and they didn't think it very much about this chapter, I think.
Okay. What do you think, Turgon? I don't know if Turgon with us.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, companies can allocate resources however they want. Like what goes on behind the scenes to make those kind of decisions is anyone's guess. But I mean, the company that runs this game should, feasibly have the ability to kind of do whatever they want with the game. And I agree with what Atriox just basically said, where a lot of the changes they're making are kind of just more cosmetic. It's fluffy. It's not substantial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with this latest batch of updates, of course, did change some things around with the meta that we've already discussed. But like, they can do whatever they want to do, and it's just a matter of choice, in my opinion, for them. So, and we're working to try to get the feedback in the right place so that we can help to guide their decision. They just need to listen better, I think.
Yeah, I think they need actually to listen instead of just saying, yeah, we are gonna offer you very good updates. You need to wait. You need to tell your communities to continue play very competitive. And then after each update, a lot of people get disappointed because they didn't really listen to what we wanted. But it's understandable what Turgon said. And I think all the communities in the game are very unsure about some of the updates. That is also good for them to listen to Fellow of the Rings and other YouTubers when they say really don't use all the vouchers and stuff like that, because it's not worth it. And this is coming from a free-to-play player, not a big spend.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It would be very wise to actually have a community interaction manager who can be the point person and address whatever every week's questions, comments, concerns, and give an update once a week. Hey, you guys have said that, pick out a couple questions, whatever, that you get thousands of or hundreds of, whatever it is, the same question. Pick out those, highlight them. Hey, on this issue, we heard you. We're going to do something about this. Next question. Hey, on this issue, get wrecked. You got nothing coming. Third question. Whatever, like that, right? And just have that once a week, an official person. They have, I think, the Jared or whoever that comes out like once a year or something. He's like Santa Claus. I call him Santa Claus because that's how it is.
I knew you were going to mention him.
You need somebody like once a week or once a month. All right, whatever. And just, hey, here's what's going on. Here's where we're at. Here's the roadmap. It's not hard. Pay the guy about whatever, $100,000 a year or something. It's nothing. You know what I mean? And then start that and have that person start that process. And then, man, it would be like night and day, I think, right?
Yeah. Good point.
Jax, regarding this situation, I think last season we had a huge talk with the Axt leader and the Amon leader and other leaders in the leadership server with the other leaders, and they made like a report or something regarding our leadership questions towards the devs, and they send it to them, and yeah, I didn't got many updates on that, but what I heard is that Isil and the Axe leader were really asking the devs to do a lot of changes. So I don't know what it really was changed, but we did put a bunch of questions there.
Yeah, well, that what I just said kind of speaks to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's somebody that knows the game, plays the game, like the other game, ESO Online, the mobile card game, like they did, they hired prominent players and streamers, and those guys became the community development guys, and they were there every week in front of the community, and they were implementing stuff and answering questions, following through. That'd be great. So, I mean, it's a win-win. How is it not a good idea?
That's a good question. Maybe we should write that question to them. How is it not a good idea? And they
let him
like
cook.
that.
Okay.
You remember? You know who says that in that movie, The Count of Monte Cristo? It's probably, I don't know, 2 decades old or more. But Jim Caviezel plays the Count. If you saw it, it's a great movie. It's a great book. Alexander Dumas. But yeah, there's a line in it when he has his first mate or whatever, once he breaks off and becomes the Count, he's got his loyal guy with him. And he wants to go back because he's been so wronged. He wants to go back and seek revenge on all these people that wronged him, right? And so he's laying out the plan on what he wants to do, and his first mate is like, no. I'll go over there. I'll kill him. I'll kill her. I'll kill him. I'll kill him. Done. We spend the money, right? Because they found all this treasure or whatever. And he says, how is this not a good idea? That's where that line comes from.
Hilarious.
The guy's like, no. They got to suffer. We're going to do this slowly.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they watched the movie. They're like, we want them to suffer.
Yeah, I see fellow already looking at the reports with Ilil. Definitely they are very wild group. They said they are like the underdogs, but I don't think so. They really did pass themselves.
Nah, Ilio and Order, these guys are resilient. I don't think I've played in the last 6 seasons against a team as resilient as these guys. It's just nuts.
Are we transitioning to season talk now?
No. It's just because Aatrox mentioned this, so I wanted to make sure everybody heard. I mean,
how long have
we've been on for an hour, so let's spend another 10 minutes on the updates talk, and then we'll move on to these other things. Now, okay. I mean, honestly, I don't think there is anything else crazy to talk about. You know, we got the new skills, which, like we've been saying, they're very, I'd say, below average. What puts them at average? It's Saruman, and but skills are average. The update in relation to all those changes are pretty okay. You got the really bad vouchers, disgusting vouchers. I do think they're just horrible just because of the expectation they've set from previous ones. I just think if you're gonna, it's just bad customer service. You know, hey, we give you 50 return vouchers here. We gave you full refunds here, and now it's like, here's 10 of each for you here. You know, I think it's just kind of, it's dumb.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean,
it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Hammers were nice.
Shout out to 2 Steps if you're here. I don't know. He may have changed. He changed his name now.
Yeah, I still gotta question him about that. You know, it's like, it's AZ. Come on, man. You've been 2 steps for too long to change your name now.
Yeah, I see that a lot. You know, with gaming in general, people are changing their names all the time, and I don't like it. I
know, because you never know who was the person anymore if they don't tell you.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and then the flip side is if you're somebody and you keep the same name and you're prominent, then you're known, right? People know who you are forever.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I mean, the other really positive change. I mean, this is a huge thank you to the. I mean, I want to say thank you just because for me it made my life easier. You know, just now being able to get the relics for 10 mithril is really nice. To unlock it, very nice. Every single relic now only 10 mithril is really, really, really nice. I like it. Let's see what else. We got the relics. We got no, getting the hammers after a couple days later. Getting the hammers. This is nice. And now I have 33 hammers that I'm saving up now, and I can just.
You gotta mute yourself. Whoever's got the background
Yeah.
noise, just mute yourself, please.
So now we got a lot of hammers to play around with. Gear. It's still, guys, don't make your moves without asking for help, or if you know what you're gonna do, use them. If not, just hold on to them. Don't. It's waiting a week or so while everybody's kind of learning the new skills and whatever's changing. It's not gonna hurt you to wait a few days before making that change. Okay, just hold on to your hammers for now. And yeah, I mean, besides that, I really don't think there's a whole lot else to talk about on the updates. I think that's really it. What do you guys think in the chat here? Anything else that we should be talking about regarding the recent updates? Go ahead, Trigon.
I wanted to just ask you, what you thought from because we just hit 3 years in the game. So we're 3 years from launch now. We could kind of take a quick look, kind of holistically, like 2.0 was a huge update. It must have been a big investment for them to make that change. There's been steady updates throughout the course of the game. Clearly they're on some sort of a methodology sprint cycle where they're pumping out updates all the time, minor updates. But then the 2.0 update was a major update. So I guess now we're approaching a year from that update, and it just makes you wonder, with all of the feedback and stuff that's been received for this, they're making changes. They're clearly thinking about the stuff that people are talking about with the game, and it just makes you wonder, when's the next big one going to come? Because they got to do it again at some point, right?
Good question. I mean, I don't. Although I'd like to think that there's going to be something big coming up in the future for the game, I just don't know. What could they change that would be that would require a major update? I mean, the only thing that I could see is something related to just commander skills right now, because like I said, they are far from being playable.
Yeah, because I mean, they shuffled stuff up in a massive way before with the 2.0 update. So yeah. People are kind of talking about these latest round updates as 2.5. So we're working towards a 3.0, right?
I hope so.
They could do another big shuffle up at some point, because I think, I mean, obviously, like you said earlier in the show, we're not going to get 1.0 back, but we could at least get something that feels more like it in terms of the counters that makes the fighting more interesting. Yeah. And they're tinkering around with things before. And the other thing that we talked about a little bit was the tactics evolved and how useless the elite skills were. And I think a big part of that, one of the things that made tactics evolve cool in 1.0, at least that I thought, was when you needed gold to level your unit skills. And they took that out 2.0. And I don't mind that change, except for in Tactics Evolved, where now you just get everything for free and it's pretty watered down. They're not really that impactful. There's not a lot of choices you can make that's going to make any kind of. It's what's the point, So I would look for them to do something with that, maybe.
I hope that they're gonna. I agree with you. I hope they're gonna revamp a lot of the things. Let's cover a few of the things you mentioned here. Right now, I feel like we are when you have a first movie of a trilogy is really good, and then you're excited for the second. You're okay, that was okay. Not as good as the first one. And you watch the third and you're like, man, they dropped the ball on this one. I feel like we're in a situation like this. 1.0, the first year was I don't know, it was incredible. A lot of people are learning the game, but the mechanics was just fine. You had siege commanders, I mean Evo especially. You had crazy siege commanders that basically all you're gonna do with them. I mean, not true. People made Gothmog be disgusting as well. So, but
the old Dunlending days.
Yeah. So, but not to say, you had roles for specific commanders. You got your madness. You had your fire reduction. You had your healer. All these had specific roles. Then you had the TE came out with amazing skills that just made some builds just incredibly broken, unbeatable almost.
Yeah.
You had the bosses that you had to gather gold from, right? Remember, people were just fighting to get the gold for the resources, but also for the hero. What is it called? Hero of Heart of Hero. Heart of the Hero. Yeah. You know that you still got resource. Remember, you got resources from those and some other like gifts and stuff. People looked forward to those. I remember being up for an extra couple of hours every weekend because I knew the bosses would come and people just run to just shoot them down to get the rewards. So there were more things that you could do in 1.0 to help your team than I feel you can now. A lot of times now you have to siege with your main because there really isn't a reason to have a siege team anymore. And so
Guardians for everything.
Guardians for everything, because they still do quite decent siege if you have to hit a fort. Tiling is important now just to spam the tiles, right? But it's obviously there's still things that you can do related to tiling, but I feel that the tiling in 1.0 for the battle, at least for me, it was funner. I remember playing for the first time versus FTPW, which doesn't exist anymore, at least with that name. I remember seeing how crazy they moved on the field. It was, I don't know, it was just astonishing how cool it was the way that they moved, right? So it made it really hard for teams to counter them because they were so organized. So, in 2.0, I just feel like they got all those cool elements that made the game what it was. And like, you know what? These aren't as cool. Although those are the things that we enjoyed, right? So now everything's kind of watered down and nothing is really meaningful. Like nothing really is meaningful in the game mechanics. At least that's how I feel. I wished there were more specific tactics you could do. For example, if I was responsible for creating a better siege experience for the players, this is what I would do. I was thinking about this yesterday. Let's say I want to siege I'm talking about sieging, fortresses and keeps. Let's just choose a keep here. Let's say I was going to take the wold here. Right? I make sure you have to have a connection at all times while you're sieging. Remember that's a 1.0 mechanic, right? But then I would make it so you could siege from like 1 or 2 tiles away. You'd have your siege army with like catapults or rams, whatever it was that you're using your siege for, kind of like you do at Age of Empires, and then. But still, you have to have people like armies protecting around them. So let's say where the stalker is, my siege army is sieging this keep right here. Boom, spending stamina to catapult stuff, right? Or let's say it would take 20 stamina to siege with a catapult, right? It takes more siege, takes more stamina, but then also it means I can do it from 1 tile distance, which, I can then protect with our surrounding armies. So I say I have surrounding armies around it. So players would have to protect the siege while it's sieging, or you could do a 10 stamina siege if you had an army with a grand, right? With a whatever you call that thing that actually hits, it destroys walls and stuff. Right? If you're touching the keep, it's 10 stamina with that machine. If it's from 1 tile away or something, you can use a catapult and it takes like 20 stamina. But that way it creates a strategy where your main heroes and formations have to be protecting these siege units from being destroyed. And so it's just kind of things like that I think they should implement to make just the game, the game funner for everybody. But I don't know, man. Honestly, TE, like Jack said earlier in the beginning, it's just meaningless. Getting 5 attack or 5% damage reduction or 5% extra damage, it really means nothing. That's why I feel things are quite a bit watered down at the moment. I think they've been kind of trying to redo the game, but trying to redo everything at the same time, so nothing is really fully complete. I don't think the game is done. I don't think that the vision that they have for the game is there yet. Because if it was, then these
It's got the bones.
What?
The game's got good bones. I mean, we wouldn't be playing it if it didn't.
Yeah.
Right? Some of us are like kind of hardcore Tolkien, Lord of the Rings nerds, and so it like tickles our fancy from that angle as well. So like they have a product that's a perfectly viable product that is marketable and can really like need to optimize the profitability of it, but it's kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the portfolio, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, but I think we can all agree that there's so much that they can do to make more money. I mean, there's just so many options that they can, implement to make more money in the game. There's so many, if they want to. But all right, let's move on a little. So I told you guys I wanted to show Jax's builds here. I do think a couple of them are the ones that I've seen. I'll pop up here his 4 builds. Jax is always running 4 builds. That is kind of ridiculous in a good way. All right, give me a second. I'm going to pop his screen up. Here we go.
Yeah, I didn't know you were showing. I didn't know you were showing my stuff today. That's no advance warning here.
I mean, I'll show just the formations. I won't show the gear and stuff.
Yeah.
Let me just make this. I think it needs to be a little bit smaller.
No, I don't. You could show whatever you want. I just tell me beforehand. Not like a secret or something like the secret, nuclear laboratory underground, and just tell me. I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this. Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah. I can't.
Jeez, what's going on here?
We have like a special reveal tonight for Jack's.
The first time I heard about it is the same time all of
that
you heard
guys
about
are
it.
hearing about it. Look at that. Let's see. Here we go. All right, cool. All right, Jax, run us through what's your idea? Like, what are your ideas with the builds you're running here?
Yeah, I'm currently actively fighting in the game, so I might be a little distracted.
All right, no worries.
Well, this is my idea here, and I haven't seen anybody else do this in the live yet. I saw it I didn't see it in PvE either. But this is Enib. This is his build. So Enib is the guy that you saw in the intro video or the intro music. That's his song, okay? And it's called Lost, and you can find it on YouTube. So it's ENIB, Enib. This is something he theory crafted, and then I tested in PvE, and I'm trying to make work and test now. And the idea is to have Witch King be high command, take advantage of the R5, and then have Sauron be high focus and also some command, high focus to take advantage of the debuff. So then you have the double debuff, and the hope here is, and it's random because Witch King's R5 is random, it's randomly selects 2 commanders. Well, obviously you're hoping that it hits the damage dealers, right? But it doesn't always do that. But it's okay, because even if it doesn't debuff and significantly decrease the damage dealer's attack, obviously, if it hits like their Gandalf the White, well, it'll take away a lot of focus, and then so the White Council doesn't reduce as much damage. So instead of your 60-70% damage reduction that you get from White Council, now it drops it down after these 2 debuffs to 40%. It's not a lot, but point is, it's okay if it does not always hit your damage dealers, which would be ideal. When it does hit, both debuffs from Witch King and Sauron do hit both the damage dealers, then you should win the fight. But that's the idea.
Perfect. I like it. Have you
You could show the gear so they understand it. Put 2 and 2 together or whatever. That's fine.
have you seen any struggles in regards to not having white council on this build?
It can struggle. I mean, it's not gonna sit there and tell you this is meta or something. It can struggle. It's not gonna beat everything, but when everything falls in place, it's quite good.
Nice.
Because you still got the Sauron buff to your damage or debuff to whatever to their damage or whatever, and they're taking increased damage or whatever. But you probably ideally want to run like maybe some war drummers, but you run the risk of it hitting one of your other support commanders, and you have 2 support commanders and use drummers. But it worked. I mean, it's not ideal, but this is designed to specifically counter what was or is the current meta, which is Gandalf the White, Sauron, Dane, and Bjorn. That is what this is designed to do, is to counter that.
Okay.
To do damage, to try and have a fight with those guys.
Cool.
You can show the gear so they can understand what I'm saying and what the command is and the skills or whatever if you want.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
so
wants to
that's
try.
Witch King. Let's see where the where is so Dane.
Just careful in your if you're gonna scroll off our chat, I don't want you to reveal the chat,
No worries,
just the
no
pictures.
worries, no worries. So you got Dane over here.
You gotta slide it up. You can't see the gear.
So yeah, running.
You gotta slide it up. You can't see. There you go. Yeah, just normal standard stuff on Dane.
Yep.
You know,
Perfect.
nothing special there. It's more the gear on Sauron and Witch King that you try to get to the certain points where you're getting enough of the damage reduction from those debuffs, like the high command on Witch King.
Yep.
And then high focus on Sauron, like somewhere 200, 250, somewhere in that range. And then command on Witch King, as high as you can get it, really. And then if you're going to do command, on Witch King, well, you might as well throw some, troops on there. But you need to you can either throw troops on there with high command gear that's attack, buffing the troop damage. Or you can do what I do, which is run mountain trolls so they get the stun and madness immunity.
Perfect. Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah, there's your alerts. There's your, I think you. Sorry, I'm distracted. You showed Sauron.
Yeah.
Sauron.
Yeah, I'll show
not
that
ideal
for.
focus. Yeah, it's not ideal focus. It's only, I think, 200 and something. But ideal, you want 240-ish. Enib said when he was testing it. But I settled on whatever you saw, and then Witch King just high command and, like I said, troop damage or just pure defense.
Who would like to answer this question from Jerm? Mountain trolls are medium units, right?
No.
Nope. They are large units.
They're fat ass.
Borky, they're small. Azrael said, Jerm, you're a medium unit. Oh, I love that. I'd love to see some friendly faces, though. Barely Ghost said, I don't think TE was bad, to be honest. No, it wasn't bad. TE was really fun. We enjoyed TE, the old school TE. Yeah. So I'll show you just really quick, Ghost, what the TE skills have become. You might be fairly disappointed. Let's go over here really quick.
Well, they become nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They become non-existent. There is no skill. +6 defense. Oh, thanks. That's great.
To encourage them, fellow. When I said I love it, Germ, it was I love seeing friendly faces here, or old faces. So look at this, Ghost. Level 1 elite skill, +3 attack, +3 defense. Level 2 elite skill, damage +6 when attacking formations afflicted by stun or madness or heal block. Or look at this. Protracted
So
war
bad.
on an alchemist, an evil unit. Healing received plus 5%.
Yeah, it's so
Ah,
bad.
jeez, jeez. It's just it's ridiculous. I don't know. That's that. Yeah, let's move on from talking about this because it's.
Are you showing all the 4 formations, or what are we doing? Because we got to move
I
on
mean,
here. We got to do that.
let's show one more. I want you to talk about the most unique one. Oh, actually, let's talk about this one. You mentioned Shadow earlier. You said you're playing
Yeah.
him different.
Okay.
So let me
So
pull up your Shadow build here, and talk about.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody else do this, and I'm not going to say it's the best out there or nothing like that, but it puts in work. The idea here is just to have Shadow and Skullham be fast, and then have, because they're upfront damage, right? You know, early round damage.
Mm-hmm.
Some of their stuff, you know, and then take advantage of Warcry set and White Rider. That's really it.
Perfect. But
So,
that one's been
that's
doing really nice though.
it's doing better because of Gil. It's doing better because of Gil's changes. Yeah,
Nice.
it's doing better. He can't have his stuff stolen, I guess now.
Yep.
So it's doing
Yep.
better. I fought the guy that was here a few weeks ago, G Unit, the Kraken.
Yep.
I just fought him the other day and lost, and he had 2,000 left. So he's running, you know, the meta or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but a couple other guys from Order had little run-ins of those last night. A few of their better players and did all right. You know, it's not as bad as a week or two ago when I was still a little bit lower level and didn't have everything optimized. Didn't have the mithril given back. You know, because most of my good comms didn't have
The unique, the relics.
the uniques and all this stuff, and now that stuff's starting to come together a little. Starting to get the uniques here and there, getting a little more respect. You know, the levels are starting to catch up, you know, because I'm always behind because I'm running 4. So I'm always several levels behind it. But at the end of the season, it starts to all level out, and then the results get a lot better. And that's happening.
Yep. I mean, let's show since you talked about that. Let's have a look at this then, really quick. Merit. Let's talk about our season here. We got half an hour. That should be enough. So I mean, Jax is running 4 formations, testing, you know, building up his good side comms. So you know, his good side comms are not at the same level as his evil yet. And look, I mean, where are you at, man? Top.
You know, this merit board is definitely, Turgon should talk about this too, but it's crazy, right? Because there's a lot of high numbers here, but it's also a bit skewered because we've been fighting everybody, right? So the whole server versus us, and there are several teams that are strong, several teams that are not as strong. So a player like on our team, I'm speaking from our standpoint, he can go fight one of the weaker teams or whatever, and next thing you know, the dude's like way up there on prestige, right?
Yeah.
If he does that for long enough, right? But then you go fight a stronger team, and then you're not seeing any of those, you know, prestige jumps at all. In fact, you fall off the list completely if you stay there long enough, right? Because those dudes that were fighting, Illy, Fences, and Order, you know, being a couple of the strongest teams, that you just get wrecked, son. Like, you just get wrecked. Go back home. Boobop, get the fuck out of here. Come back better, you know? And then you go to the other side. Next thing you know, you're mollywopping 4 or 5 guys at once. So it's a weird deal.
It is.
Yeah, that's why I don't look at that merit board anymore.
I mean, this, yeah.
It's not a normal merit board. Like in a normal season, you have whatever the top 2 kingdoms or teams. They're just going at it all season. So it's realistic, right? They're not going off to halfway across the map and fighting, you know, some chicken heads or nothing. They're fighting the strongest guys all season. That's really reflective. Ours is not. It doesn't matter. I'm just pointing it out.
I agree. It is. It's been like that all season long. What do you think, Turgon?
Because you have guys here that whoever's on the top of the merit board, some of our guys, I don't know the other guys, I would suspect it's the same for the top. Some of the top guys on this board from our team and probably the other team. They're there every season. Okay, like they're always there. It doesn't matter. They've got a lot this season because they fought some weaker guys for a little while, or they didn't. They're always there. They're there every season. So it doesn't even those guys are legit, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now, I mean, if you guys want to know how shaken the meta is, you can just look at this. Okay, just look at your commander rankings, and you can see how they have balanced the meta.
Yeah.
I'm seeing 4 commanders that are just repeating themselves.
Yes.
So
Yeah, there is nothing in there except Dane, Bjorn, Gandalf the White, Sauron. That's it, bro. 90%.
Yep, look,
it's ridiculous. It has to be changed.
Yeah.
look at this.
I mean, until 2 seasons ago, I wasn't even using Gandalf the White, and now I'm also using.
Look at this. Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, look how we did.
It's bad.
Okay, we can look at 100 commanders right now. We start with Scalhelm. That is the first different one, okay?
Like 2 out of
Yes,
100,
but look at
so
this.
99.
We go all the way
8%.
down. Nothing besides Sauron's, Bjorn's, Gandalf the Whites, and Dane's. Not a single one. I mean, then you got the Scalhelm, right? Keep going down all the way to the last 3 or 4. Look at this. Nothing changed. Nothing changed here. Your last 3 or 4, Lurtz, Bard, and Círdan. That's the meta for you guys. That's the meta for you. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it sucks, man. I hope this gets changed. It's just so bad. I don't. Gosh, man, it's
All
frustrating.
right. So let's talk a little bit about our server now. It's just
Turgon, jump in here. Give us the diplomatic updates from the last week. What has changed?
look. Wait.
And I'll do
Before we
that.
go on, shout out to Glera. Glera popping into Rise to War. It's been what, a year now, Glera? 6 months. It is long time no see. Hope you're doing well. They changed Thorin, and he is something else now.
She used to like Thorn.
Yeah,
huh?
she had a R25, like the 1.0 version, R25.
Hey, who's that guy? The Hispanic community streamer. What's his name?
Halfadar. Yeah.
Alf. Yeah, I was trying to watch one of his streams earlier today.
Brush it.
Shout out
Brush
to him.
up-
It's cool that they
brush
got
up some Spanish.
Yeah, the Latinos though. The thing that I like about it, I didn't understand anything obviously, but the thing I like, because it's in Spanish and that's fine. The thing I like about it is just they have their own little close, tight knit community, and that's really
Yeah.
cool. It's good to
It
see
is.
that, and they stick together and they roll together and they get in the car together and go fight. And I love that.
I mean,
man.
those
I love it.
guys, crazy good tilers as well. These guys,
yeah.
when they broke East here, man, it was a pain. It was a pain.
It was.
All right, cool.
Yeah, definitely got to tip my cap to those guys over in HISP. They are very active,
Very active.
feisty teams. Feisty teams.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah. I fought against Isom and Hisp, both of them as well seasons ago, so I know how active and interesting they are. And now we're fighting against Neon for a second time, and they are even more active and tiling like crazy. So
Yeah, you guys are overmatched in that fight, but you're doing your best.
I mean, we are not really overmatched anymore because we have some crazy whales in Luna right now.
Oh, nice.
Which were back in the day in the 1.0, they were part of NSTI. So yeah.
Nice. Good to hear. But yeah, in general, I just like to see the little communities. There's a lot of other groups that ride or die together, like, the Russians ride or die together. You got some of the French ride or die together. And it's just good to see. I like it. It's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, keep those groups. As long as they're they're together, they're gonna keep playing for a long time. So.
Yeah, it's just good to see. It's good for the game, because the guys that would normally just quit, they don't, because they have a community, they have a team, and they're loyal to that team. And just like any of us, right? You stay in the game longer than maybe you would or should because of your team and your camaraderie.
Exactly.
Finds going to war. Like when you go to war, that's really the thing about it is what you remember after you go to war and you fight other people, life and death situations. You remember your team, your brotherhood, your camaraderie. That's what you carry with you. You don't carry, I shot this dude in the head or my buddy got shot in the head right next to me. No. You remember the team, the camaraderie, and the things that you share with your team, and you become a family, and you're all one. It's good to see.
It is.
That's why I returned to the game after 7 months.
Yeah.
All right.
To be honest,
go ahead. You finished, or what were you saying?
Yeah, I wanted just to say one thing. After I returned to the game after 7 months, I was very surprised to see 20 players returning to play because they quit the game for a while. And when they heard I came back, 20 players also came back to play. So I was really surprised about it.
Nice. Yeah, that is nice.
Perfect. All right, Turgon. Is Turgon still in?
Yes, sir. So over the course of the first 5 weeks here, we basically kind of were sticking to a no diplo kind of philosophy for the season, and we were fighting on so many fronts. With this 10v2 that was going on, and we're 5 weeks into the season, so we heard some rumors that some of our opponents are getting a little bit fatigued. And so we had some conversations and made some agreements, and now our eastern flank is freed up, and we can focus 100% of Eudes in the Undeeps, and it's a totally different situation over there now, because before it was about 50 of us, and I'm not sure how many Gods players were assisting us over there. I think at times there was the majority of the team over there, and there's other times where they've had to go back and defend against Neon, so that's kind of been fluctuating over the course of the last 7 to 10 days, but by and large now we're all in the Undeeps, and made a pretty significant difference in our ability to control the board a little bit. So it's been nice. It's been refreshing. It's nice to there was like an Eastern crew, and there was the Undeeps crew, and it was like it was like a little party when we all got back together again. Like, yeah, we got the band back together again.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
The vibe has definitely changed. It's a different vibe altogether.
Yeah. I mean, I spent 2 weeks on this side here just so these guys wouldn't get back in here. It's been a nightmare. Staying.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I was out there too on my one account. So I've been on both fronts on several different accounts, and it was a very different vibe from area to area.
Yeah. I mean, so what happened to me was I was the squad I was in. We were here in the area for some time. I think like the first 2-3 weeks. When we moved east.
I don't think it was 50 in the Undeeps crew, the Undeeps tunnel crew. I feel like it was more like 20, if that.
Yeah.
Well, there's different sides to Undeeps. You've got the Karis side, you've got the DG side, you've got the SAV side.
Yeah, there's too many fronts.
And it's not a pure 50 because we have had a couple of players go AFK. So it's more like 47-ish over there, defending on 3 separate fronts. So you split that 47 into 3 groups.
That's what I'm saying, because the front I'm referring to is the tunnel against Order. That was probably the toughest front, I think. Maybe, I don't know, Gods fighting most of Illy on the southern half might have been tougher because you're fighting, Gods was kind of alone fighting Illy themselves and some of Order. I don't know, but that was probably the two toughest. But now you have more people that, since these other guys what's happened is Hiss signed a NAP, approached with a NAP, I guess, and 2 parties accepted or whatever. So now there's no more fighting on the East Front against a whole kingdom, right? And that whole kingdom now is decided to go fight one of the others that were also attacking us on the Ashen Plains Front, which is Bull and Dome. Now they're fighting each other, right? And it was this big mega alliance, the whole server against us. And I think that was organized by Ilian Order. I could be wrong, So there's a lot less that we have to deal with, and we can focus now pushing to the front, to the ring, hopefully taking the ring. We'll see how it plays out. But there's been the thing that I wanted to comment about is there's been some backlash against, I think, HISP and maybe even Apes and Luna, because they're not a part of this mega alliance right now, and the other mega alliance members that are still in this coalition against us, gods and Utes, they didn't like that, and there's been some comments and stuff, and they're saying stuff like, you're a backstabber, you're this, that, and the other. But the reality is, it's a zero-sum game, and only one kingdom wins, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, they don't owe anyone, any other team anything. They're not your minions, they're not your subjects. We didn't make that happen. That was their own choice. And to get mad at them later now because they chose to, instead of keep running into a wall of, whale-ish type players over and over when they're not on that level all season for basically nothing, because you're going to get nothing out of that. You could have done that the whole season. You would have gotten nothing. You would have gotten exactly what you're getting now. Maybe they'll even get more now because they may take more regions, but they weren't going to get anything from it before. They weren't going to break through and, whatever. In fact, the opposite is true. We could have said, all right, we're going to recall all these people in Undeeps for a week and go over to their front and just take their capital from them because we can. Because we didn't like the fact that it was 10v2 or something stupid like that. We wouldn't do anything like that, but just saying it was possible, right? So to call them out and call them traitors or say, hey, now we're going to come attack you because you left the Mega Alliance or whatever, and that's just bullshit, straight up. I'm going to tell you like it is. That's who I am. I always shoot it straight and tell you exactly the fuck how it is, whether you like it or not. That's how I am. It's bullshit. It shouldn't be done. It's bullshit. Yeah. It's straight chicken shit bullshit. They do what they want to do. They don't have to do what you tell them to do or we tell them to do. They do what they're playing their own game. Maybe they want to go fight somebody on their level for a while because technically they would have just wasted their entire season running into our wall all season and got nothing more than what they have already right now doing that, right? So let them play the game.
Think about that.
Don't go attack them or something. You going in attack. Hold on one second. You going in and attacking them. Okay, go ahead and do that. Like whoever's saying that crap, go ahead and leave the front against us near the ring and go attack those guys off on the flanks. We'll just come right through everything you got now. So please do. Be our guest. Get out of our way. We're not going to stop. But I just wanted to say that I respected whoever did what they did. It's their game to play. Nobody, is somebody else's boss here. Let people play.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of teams on the server. It's a by comparison to most of the servers I've seen since 2.0 started, this is the most full server that I've seen. I mean, there's 10, 12, 14, maybe even more fellowships warbands of at least 40, 50, 60 players, and they're all doing stuff, and everyone wants something to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's a shame to see people get upset about it. I get it. It's probably just passionate competitiveness, and that results to some anger because when things don't go your way, it's frustrating. We know that. Everyone knows that. That's played this game. So I think it's going to be an interesting play through the rest of the server to see what happens out there. Ideally, we're really not looking to participate in anything that goes on out there. We're not server police or anything like that. We're going to stick to our game plan and see where the cards fall.
Yep.
Yeah, the bottom line is just what you said. They're competitive and they want whatever they want, which is they want the ring. Well, the reality is, the bottom line is, whoever's got the keys, and running the show and calling the shots from this, mega alliance, I'm guessing it's the people that hold the ring right now, right? So them getting disappointment is completely understandable, but it should also be, conversely, completely understandable that the people that you're ordering or telling or whatever, leading to go attack our flanks or whatever, they have their own priorities. They want to also get accomplished, right? they one guy said it from HISP, who some of these people are angry at. He said it great in chat. He was like, "How about this?" I'm paraphrasing here. It's not exactly. I'm quoting exactly. He's like, "How about this? How about you take all your people, go over there, and then you run into that wall for the next 5 weeks? How about that? Because we want to play and go fight some fair fights."
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking when you started talking. Is put yourselves in their shoe. You know, these guys are spending their time and their money. You know, because this game requires time and money, a lot of time and a lot of money. You know, obviously money is subjective as well, but this still requires a lot of money to play. And these guys, okay, we're gonna play our game. They come and take all these lands, and basically because it's a mega alliance, they're not touching each other here. The only objective that they can have is fighting us. And imagine people coming in 5, 6, 10 hours every day just to hit a place they can't move. Just that's like their only course of action is, okay, let's send on this pass. Okay, we all died. Hey, nothing more. Let's make some more troops. We try again
For
tomorrow.
5 weeks.
Exactly.
For 5 weeks,
Right.
Well,
they
remember there was that time they did take Eastern Wastes for like 3 days.
for
And then
5
we just went
weeks.
back.
Yep.
For 5 weeks, they served loyally at your feet.
Yeah.
They did exactly what was expected of them for 5 weeks. They got, they got wrecked.
And
Okay?
we've
But they didn't stop. They fought every day. Every time we break a fortress, guess what's showing up? Another motherfucking fortress.
every
Okay?
day.
They did their
Exactly.
job. They did what was asked of them. Okay, don't get mad at them because the last few weeks they want to go fight some fair fights and have fun. Like,
Yeah,
that's
those guys were
ridiculous. Come on.
relentless. They
What are we
didn't
doing?
stop.
What are
And
doing?
we've all been in the short end of a stick in the season where we're the underdogs, right? We're like one of the lower teams, or we're definitely not the bigger dogs in the team. And you know how it is frustrating for if you're a leader. Yeah, your player's gonna come to you saying, "Yo, what's the deal? Like, are we not gonna get anything done this season? This is getting boring. I'm gonna go AFK until we get to bag in because there's just nothing else to do." So leaders, the reason why I like what these teams are doing, HISP and Free and Bowl and Dome, it's not because it's favoring us, because we might not get the ring. It's the season, so something can change where these guys go back to hitting us. You never know, right?
Well,
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say the thing is they are playing for their players. They're making their game.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what
Yes.
makes that's what makes games and stories
Yes.
dynamic, is you don't know what's going to happen. And
Right.
so it's been great. It was a 10v2 before. It was this Purple Kingdom here, right? Neon and Theo, I believe, along with Ilu and Order, with Russ C and the French team LCDR. Then you had Hisp and Free and Bull and Dome, all versus us. Now these two teams, these two kingdoms
They did their
on the
jobs, like Bulldog, Rusty,
Exactly.
they're all still up until just like this last whatever day or two. Them fools were coming at us with every fucking thing they got, including the kitchen sink, throwing it at us constantly all season.
Yep.
They did more than was expected. Okay, respect that. Give them respect for that. Don't call them out later because now they want to go fight each other and have fun. That's chicken shit. Come on, get the fuck out of here with that, man.
Yeah, and now go.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you, Jax. I mean, using other teams for their own benefit is not good.
Yeah, but it was somewhat necessary because, the reality is maybe you needed that. This needed to happen this way, and it did. Okay, everybody played their role, but now everything's coming to a head. The season is closing up here soon, shortly. Let people do what they want. Don't call them out later. And what you should be doing is thank you for your service. It was a long shot, maybe. We had a shot. We gave it a shot. We gave it our best shot. I know all the people on all those fronts did. That's it. Thank you.
Yep, that's it. All right, and then right now it's still 6v2. You still have 3 teams versus us. These 2 teams are essentially fighting each other now. So we'll see. There's still a lot to go. But one thing that I take from this, hopefully Turgon can maybe speak a little bit more or hopefully agree, is that Turgon had to leave, sorry, so it's gonna be just me. Is that this season being dynamic? We've did very little Diplo this season. We actually didn't do Diplo at all this season. We knew we're gonna keep things organic, let things flow dynamically, and this is exactly what a dynamic server for us looked like, right? We knew we're gonna. So interestingly enough, Gods and Nudes were not going to partner up in the beginning of the season. Okay, Gods and Nudes were not going to team up. We came in the same server, but we were not going to team up at first. But when we found out the number of teams that were going to come for us, which were 10 already, something had to change. So we partnered up, and we've been fighting 5 teams for over 30 days now. And
yeah, we would have gotten not wrecked, but we would have gotten definitely pushed back without.
And kudos to these guys. All the team. I can tell you about the 4 teams on the north and east here haven't fought Neon because God has been taking care of them. But these guys have been coming. They haven't stopped, which is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. This is proper right now. Praise them for what they've done. Don't bitch at them later because they want to go fight fair fights. Come on, man.
And the changes that have come from these 2 kingdoms here, the red one here, the lower red, Bull and Dome and Hisp and Free, it was not something that we reached out to. Okay? And so it's just teams looking out for their own, wanting to make changes. It's been good. I really hope that teams will see, like Turgon puts out videos on the updates every week. We always talk about our season updates on the live streams. Is out of the 4 seasons I've played so far in NRP, this has been the best. And this is the one where we are outnumbered. Obviously, we are strong, but we are definitely outnumbered. And we have to work really hard to gain ground because there's just so many players here.
We can't gain ground in any of these guys' territories because we'll just lose our own at the front by the ring.
So just a couple.
No, their reputation, whoever there's animus towards here, their reputation is solid. Don't try and say later, oh, these guys are this, that, and the other. You can't depend on that's not correct. Yeah. These guys are solid. Their reputation is good to go. I got no problem with these people. They're all good guys, honorable. All these teams out here.
Having played 16 seasons, I said this before. For me, it's much more important the community aspect of this game for me than my own wins. Because if I really cared about only winning, I'd only be joining teams that are always winning. And I've joined so many different types of teams. So I agree with Jax here. These guys, the guys that made the choice to play for themselves here after 30 days of playing in this alliance, they did it just for the interest of their own players. So their players are not quitting because they had nothing to do for another 30 days.
Yeah, and they weren't influenced. We weren't bitching in chat or whatever. I don't know. None of that happened, homeboy.
So
none of that.
I really hope you guys that are watching here that are from different teams. It might not put your team in favor to win all the time, but trust me, I much rather lose the ring this season and play the way we've been playing than winning the way we won 2 seasons ago, I believe. It's been so much fun because you don't know what's going on. You don't know if you're gonna push here, today. They might have so many forces here. You guys might not go anywhere, right? But you might make some strides on, over here today. It's just been really, really, really fun. I really hope teams, see this and hey, let's try less Diplo. Look at this. G Unit right here. Yeah. Look at that. G Unit is in the chat. Maddox.
Oh, nice.
And he said, I'm satisfied with the season. I'm glad you are, my friend. And so...
Me too. You should be. Everyone should be, honestly. You should be. It was a good competitive season.
Yeah.
Everybody got pushed to their limits. We're speaking honestly. It was a good season.
Yeah, I also got to my limits.
Yeah. It's probably one of the... This is my best 2.0 season so far. At least for me.
Yeah.
So...
It's not over. It's not over. We're in our team is in better shape, and I think some other teams are in a better shape too. But we don't have the ring. somebody else has the
Exactly.
ring. So this season is still up for grabs. Who knows who wins,
Yep.
right? It's still a
Yep.
struggle.
100%. So, all right. Well, guys, we're hitting the 2-hour mark, and it's.
Well,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I also had some updates from my front with
Yeah,
eight.
how's that going? Go ahead.
Well, it's going pretty well, man. Finally getting to our season update. Well, first of all, we've been fighting quite a while after we managed to unify the clans into Luna and Ape, because we started in 5 streams together with gods, but we had a huge problem because when we started in 5 streams, we didn't knew gods didn't really want us there first, and then we had a huge fight there, but then our clan, CSI, who I reborn the clan by united Theo and Valhalla, broken apart. So Theo went to fight together with Neon, and we were thrown all the way to Blue Mountains. And of course, my crew wasn't very happy about it, but we couldn't fight gods more than 24 hours because they were too strong. And yeah, after 24 hours of intense fighting, we decided, hey, let's go to Blue Mountains. It's gonna be fun. And then we
Right.
had to deal with Ilil and Oredaru. And then yeah, it wasn't a good deal because they were like, hey guys, you look like a bunch of roaming Vikings. I hope you don't land in our land. So it's like, yeah, maybe. And then Order offered us to join their clan, but they offered it after 3 entire days of us fighting there in those regions. Not with them, but with other smaller clans and stuff, so no one really responded to us really quickly. And then, of course, after many fights and stupid side quests, we managed to unite the clans into Luna and Ape. And we did a great job this season. I mean, Valhalla and Apes basically merged into one united clan, me and my 40 players, Jermin and his 33 players. And we basically went ape shit there on them. We started going crazy on Theo because Theo basically left us hanging, literally hanging, in a very bad way. And we were like, hey Theo, you seem like a good merit farm for us. So we just jumped them and we were like, hey, okay. And then we said, give us our bananas. And then we started going on them.
You guys just took another territory,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, we took it, and Theo members were messaging, no, why
Let
did
me
you
ask
do
you.
it?
Let me ask you a question. All right.
Okay.
Since you guys, okay, have whatever you've been talking about, whatever's going on over there on the west side. Now you're fighting Neon. You're getting in there. You're mixing it up. You know, you took a territory. You got good, somewhat fair fighting. It sounds like. Is that funner than what it was before in the beginning of the season when you were whatever?
Well, of course it is. I mean, at the beginning of the season, we were changing. Yeah.
Right.
Continue.
So my point is this, okay? What you're saying, and I think you can pick up on the energy he's putting out, is the proof in the pudding, okay, of what we've been talking about. These smaller teams that were doing whatever they were doing are part of an alliance and all this and that. They've chosen to do whatever they're doing now, and you can see it right here and feel it, that the energy's there, and they're having fun doing what they're doing, fighting much fairer fights and just playing the game. There's your proof in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean, we are enjoying the season much more than we enjoyed the last 2 seasons, to be honest. And we were doing a good job in this because we are trying to put our hearts into the game this season. I told my players to be 150% into the fights. I sent a whole battalion of players fighting the entire trio, together with Germ battalion of players, and then I split up my people into 2 different teams, 20 players in one front, 20 players in another front. We were pushing really hard. Neon also brought like 10-15 very strong players to support Theo, but they needed the entire clan now to push us, and now they are there with their entire force. If you look at our red pin, you see our choke point. We are trying to hold them back into a huge shield wall.
we are basically Viking apes now this season. So we are trying to push them really hard because what we want is to get Neon and Theo out of our conquered lands. We are trying to make sure that our team is making a difference. And now that we don't need to worry too much about Neon pushing into our own lands because we have a strong foothold, we are trying to establish that our lands, which we took, our Enedwait and the other keep tower, which we took, are ours now. So
what you're doing is you're just playing the game. Your players are playing the game. You're having fun, and it's the way it should be.
Yep.
We get. Yep. We get it.
Yeah, and the only thing which I am left to say is that, hey, our diplomacy team did a good job as well, and we are trying to keep our heads high. We are trying to get a lot of merit. We are trying to have fun. And I see all the players in Aped in our new merged clan for this season are having fun. I didn't hear anyone complaining.
Good.
Oh, it's so unfair. It's so much one-sided.
Yep.
No.
Yes.
So just like Jack said, just like Jack said, the proof right here that smaller teams can play in competitive servers is just there. Okay, it does take a little bit of time and recruiting people and getting people banded together in one place, but you can. All right, and I do think with the changes in in the amount of skill, but that's something we didn't talk about. I'm just gonna go over really quick. Is the amount of skill points every commander now gets helps the lower spenders to have more impact than they did before. So that's it, guys.
Yeah, it's good to see. It does me good to hear it. And this is what you want. You're smaller team, whatever. You make the best of the hand you're dealt, and you have fun doing it. And that's all you can expect. You see an opportunity, sure, go for it, but make the best.
And we just took it.
Part of the game.
Exactly.
So good to hear all of this. We gotta get to whatever the next segment is. What's your next thing?
It's closing. We've been here for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We need to hit the cap. But the only thing what I can say is that, hey, Aped is not really part of a mega alliance right now. What we do is basically to have our own fun and to fight for our people. But one thing which I can say is that I didn't like that Theo and Neon got to impose a peace on us when we are trying to have fun. So I was like, hey man, we are taking those motherfucking kips. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about your peace. I'm gonna go with my Vikings and we're gonna do what we can do. And then we are taking this. And we took them. And then the players from Theo also realized, hey, Atriox can be a better leader for our clan. And I'm like, let's go.
All right.
And then we proved it.
That's
great.
it, man.
You hand him a mic, homie. He takes
Exactly.
It. He takes the mic.
Germ just said that in the chat, Jack. Says someone take his mic.
Homeboy don't give a fuck, homie. You give me a mic, I'm finna take
All right.
it. I love it.
Let the man speak. All right, well, guys, let's do this.
But
We're gonna wrap up. All right. Just to summarize, do your thing, play your game. Smaller teams, play your game. If you're gonna be a part of an alliance and you feel like you're not gonna get much done if you stay at it, leave. Play. At the end of the day, you guys, it's a game. If you're not gonna have fun, then find your way to have fun in the game. All right. So.
I mean, Fellow of the Rings is right. I mean, we are trying to have fun. We are always trying to work out with a lot of teams. We are working with Order and Ilil right now to make like a stable front line there as well, because they are understanding of us, and we are basically not invading each other's territories, and we are taking like limits to the territories and stuff like that. So that's also good. I mean, I'm not part of the diplomacy team this season, though, so I am much more relaxed, to be honest. Like, I'm more on the fighting side.
Good.
All
right, so guys, leave a comment in the Discord what you guys what you guys would like to hear about or watch or talk about in a future podcast. Okay, Bohica, I don't know if you're on still. I'm gonna answer your question in text in either in the DM or in the group, in the server. I know you asked about. Let me just see his question here, and I'm gonna answer it there, because it's not as easy. It's because we're out of time. I'm not gonna just give you a shallow response. Bohica said you can only ascend one commander. Who would you pick? Frodo, Sam, Shadow, Falcon, Lurtz, or Legolas? I'll answer to you.
Shadow.
I'll answer to you in more in depth in the server.
Shadow.
But yes, I would agree with Jax. Shadow. I wouldn't touch Legolas yet. There's not enough testing to see his power potential. Before doing stuff on Legolas, I wait a little bit. Thing is, Frodo and Sam, I wouldn't ascend him. His relic right now doesn't work with his kit, and so there is no real reason to have him higher. There is no need to have him higher. And Falcon,
He good in
sorry.
He good in RP.
No. Frodo
Really?
is great. I have Frodo, but you don't necessarily need him ascended for him to be good. That's what I'm saying. Whereas
Yeah,
Shadow,
no, you don't.
you want that extra damage when he ascends, and essentially getting him
Yeah.
to Z1 would be ideal because you get the extra T3 damage as well. So, yeah. What you want to call it? Support commanders are the ones you need to worry least about ascending, unless you really need their relic. If you like, for example, Falcon, you do, or else you're better off with Gandalf the White if you don't have his relic. Gandalf the Grey. Gandalf the Grey is better than Falcon without his relic because essentially the same thing. But Falcon is limited because it's only 3 formations, where White Council is to 4, and yada yada yada. And he also has healing. Okay. So I would pick Shadow. If not Shadow, then potentially Lurtz if you're talking about damage there. But Legolas it looks like he could have some potential, but let us do some more testing before. But I'll talk to you a little bit more offline on this, okay? But yeah, guys, Scar is helping me set up a poll on the server. And so I'm gonna ask you guys what types of topics you guys like to hear. Maybe you guys want to do more, basically what we just talked about, specifically talking about commanders, going over builds. There's still a lot of
Tier list.
sorry.
Tier list.
Yes, we're working on a tier list. We didn't want to make a tier list last week just because nothing had really changed in PBE. And so it's like,
Yeah.
I know people like seeing tier lists, and some people jump the gate sometimes of giving those things. So sweet, Bohica. Hopefully you heard it. So yeah, we're gonna work on that. They're coming here, but there are a few commanders that we need to really reevaluate. For example, Legolas being one of them. Getting some more data on some other dudes we're testing. Like everybody's after we've been kind of mentioning Agzog, not Azog or whatever. Agzog, the T1 from the evil side. Because he has 4 damage. You were like, oh man, maybe he's amazing. So far, the most recent report, and it's also the one that Jack sent me today, is Agzog doing 101,000 damage. Sorry, 109,000 damage.
But, hold on now. Disclaimer. He was the only damage dealer in the formation. He was played against some trash other formation that wasn't good. So don't go all in on Agzog
So
as you can, because most of the time, in my experience, he's been a straight dumpster fire, or as the hobbits would say, a shire fire. So just hold off unless you can. Don't jump all in.
Just wait. I mean, like he's still probably going to be the best T1 in the game, but if you have other commanders that are just stronger, there's no reason to waste all your vouchers on that you have for him right now. Just hold on, I'm sitting on a few hundred T2 vouchers as well, because I'm not sure if I really want to put it into Gimli, if I need it more higher than he is right now. So just be a little bit patient. All right, guys. We're going to see you guys again next week. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. If you haven't liked yet, make sure to hit that like button. All right, help us grow the channel. Keep the community tight together. That's what the goal is, you know. Putting in all this time to chat here with you guys. It's a pleasure for us, but we have a goal. We want to see this game last as long as we can because we enjoy the game. All right?
Yeah, we're working on getting some special guests soon and regular schedule and stuff, and that's all coming. Stay tuned.
All right.
Appreciate y'all being here, and good to see y'all again.
Take care, everybody. See you guys in the next one.
See ya. Don't get rich.
Son.